Alright, and we're back!
Hello!
We're back with Echo here and the short stories. So, we've already done Date, we've done Runaway. You guys ready for Lights?
Yep.
All of
Who's
them.
the protagonist of Lights?
I wonder
Oh,
if
it's
Light
funny that you
is
should
out.
ask that, Sam.
God damn it, no!
Yeah.
Attention!
PJ again?
Elite.
PJ2, the electric
PJ
booty.
already had his short.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I have multiple.
Remember how I said there's two shorts that explain his sexuality? Yeah. This is the second
I will
one.
also state here, they're ordered in chronological order, going from the furthest back to the most recent. So Date was the one that was furthest back in time.
And then Jenna runs away.
And now we
How do
get
you call it
Lights.
running away? But Jenna seeks sanctuary. I think would be a better term for that.
Alright,
Most likely, I would agree with you, yes.
here we are in November of 2010. I believe Jenna ran away in May of this year, if I remember right.
I think so.
Then she's off at college. And Chase misses her, and she misses Chase.
Oh, my controller decided to turn off. There we go.
I look down at the cup in my hand again, trying not to make eye contact with anyone around me. Part of me wished I had stayed home tonight, but Sarah asked me to come, and I feel bad turning her down. She looked so excited when she mentioned how much effort she and the rest of her Bible group put into this party. She said that after a recent string of storms, the school wanted people to know that there was a severe weather shelter in the basement of the church. At first, I thought it was going to be a bland-looking concrete basement, but as it turned out, Peyton's old school gym is beneath the church. It's a small basketball court with bleachers that fold back against the walls and old basketball rims that are pulled up towards the ceiling so that they're out of the way. Sarah and her friends strung up streamers and lights along with all sorts of other party decorations, turning this drab old gymnasium into a pretty cool party room. A disco ball hangs from the ceiling, reflecting lights over the room, while a DJ stands off to the side, taking requests for which songs to play. So far, mostly 80s and 90s pop songs. A group of adults stand around the DJ, probably to make sure nothing too risque is played. Almost all of us are standing around talking or avoiding eye contact, save for a few adventurous souls dancing awkwardly next to one another. I finish off the last of my drink and decide to head back over to the punch bowl. I keep my head down, avoiding eye contact as I walk through the crowd. I reach the refreshment table and ladle more juice into my cup and sigh to myself. I really shouldn't have come here tonight. My parents are out of town for the weekend, and I had to ask Chase and Leo for a ride. I figured since they're already heading to Peyton tonight, it would be alright, but something about their mood made me think that I had ruined their night. I told them that I'd try and find a ride home with someone else, and that I'd call them if there were any changes, but they said not to bother. Chase said they'd stick around, that it's not like they had anything better to do. The way he said it made me realize I made a mistake bringing them into this. I can't take my mind off it now. I tried to make Sarah's night a little better, but ended up ruining Chase and Leo's. Hold on, another video's playing and it's really loud. Now I'm avoiding Sarah and I can't help but feel I'm ruining everyone's night. I have to stop myself from thinking about it too much. I bring my cup to my lips and drink just so that I'm doing something, if only for a few seconds. I end up downing all of it, and I close my eyes. I focus on slowing my breathing to stave off a panic attack I feel coming on. It takes a few minutes, but finally I can feel my heart rate slow and my body relax. Only to be startled by a hand touching my shoulder.
Who wants to be Sarah?
I guess I could be Sarah.
Who's Sarah?
You want to be Sarah, Matt?
No, I'm just asking a legit question.
She's basically a girl that TJ knows, that he wanted to help her feel a little bit better about going to this party at a church.
Yeah, I could be Sarah.
Okay.
Hey.
Hey. My voice is squeaky. She smiles a little at that.
I was hoping to find you here. I was looking for you earlier, but I got caught up with Jessica and Amber.
You're a little soft, Hannah. I think you could get a little closer to your mic.
Yeah, let's continue.
We're switching spots. Here we go.
Okay.
There we go. And then that goes there, there, huzzah.
Okay. Hopefully this works. I was hoping to find you here. I was looking for you earlier, but I got caught up with Jessica and Amber.
I start her and she blushes.
Would you like to dance?
I can't help the shocked expression that appears on my face, and my eyes dart to the ground. I start mumbling out excuse before Sarah reaches for my hand and pulls me to the dance floor. The cup I'm holding slips from my hand as I lose track of myself. Everything seems to fade away as I follow Sarah onto the dance floor. She turns to me and pulls me closer and places my hand on her hip. I hope the music is loud enough to mask the gulp I make when my hand touches her dress. Sarah is wearing an off-white sundress with a red ribbon around her waist, and I can't help but stare with how cute she looks. I feel overdressed in my outfit. My mom had laid out my clothes for me before she and Dad left. A light blue dress shirt and tie paired with slacks. Sarah's smile snaps me out of reminiscing as she waits for me to take the lead. I force myself out of the trance and take a tentative step right onto Sarah's foot. She squeaks and pulls her foot away. Sorry. Sarah just giggles at me while my face burns. There are a few more missteps before we get a rhythm down, and I can't help but feel kind of good about myself. At least I still have a chance at making Sarah's night, and not completely ruining it. Her smile seems to have a way of relaxing my nerves, and soon enough, I'm smiling back at her. Oh, weird. That was a knock.
Oh.
Let me
Yes,
make
that's
sure
not
it's
from the
not
game,
me.
so yeah, double check what you needed to.
Oh! I guess it was another door. But still, that kind of freaked me out.
Oh yeah.
Like, which message turned to... Okay. The next song has a much faster tempo, and we let go of each other. Sarah shakes her hips and moves her body to match the beat. I fumble, not knowing what to do with my hands, so I start to copy Sarah and hope she doesn't notice. We dance together, laughing and occasionally singing lyrics to songs we both know. Every now and then, we bump into each other, which forces a few laughs out of us, although I'm suspicious that she's doing it on purpose. Before long, the tempo of the music starts to slow, and we found ourselves slow dancing once again. Sarah pulls herself closer to me this time, until our bodies press together. She looks me in the eye and smiles warmly, before putting her head on my shoulder. My body's tense and I can feel her warm breath against me. I can feel her body press into me as she hugs me tighter. It feels nice. In that moment, I just realized how much Sarah enjoys my friendship. I feel like she trusts me. It's been so long since I've been comfortable around anyone, not even Jenna or the others make me feel like this.
Note that line.
I haven't
Sounds
felt
like-
safe around anyone in such a long time, even my own friends. But with Sarah, it's as if I can let my guard down. I feel like I could do no wrong to her. I gently pull her into me, returning her embrace and smile. Unfortunately, my body reacts to this in the worst way possible, and my smile fades as I feel my pants getting tighter. Oh. We start to step out and sink, and I can feel her torso grind against mine. I can feel her press her hip into mine. Have a good night, Matt.
Oh, have a good night,
I
Matt. didn't know
salute you, man.
I tense and try to pull my hips away, but that only succeeds in making matters worse as the angle changes and I can feel myself bumping into her. Sarah's hands travel down my back, coming to rest up just above my tail. My entire body is tense, and I can feel myself starting to panic before the song fades out for another one with a faster tempo. Sarah pulls her head from my shoulder.
love this song.
She pulls away and I feel a wave of relief wash over me, hoping she didn't notice or isn't angry about what happened. She starts to bounce and hop to the beat, and I follow her lead, but she turns around and she pushes her back into me. She gives me a wink over the shoulder, and as she dances, her body grinds against mine. She sways her body while I try to focus on dancing, but I can't keep up. I try to move along with her, but I keep moving the wrong way. I can feel my crotch grind against her body. Panicking, I take a step back and she follows me. The song seems to go on forever. The music finally changes, and I can't focus on anything other than what's going on in my pants. Sarah looks at me before we react, kisses me on the cheek.
Thanks for dancing with me, TJ.
Even in the dim lighting, I can see her blushing face.
I'm going to take a break, but I want to dance with you again before the party ends, okay?
Oh, okay. I watch as she walks away, not realizing my eyes are on her hips until she disappears into the crowd. A tightness in my pants snaps me back to reality, and I fumble to put my hands in my pocket, hoping to hide what's going on in there. I look around for the signs to the bathroom, and I make my way out of the party room. The exit is a long tunnel that leads to the church. The air in here is damp and cold, and as I step into the hallway, I feel a wave of cold air hit me. I realize how warm I am. I'm practically panting. I groan as I realize I probably look like an idiot dancing with Sarah. My feet almost make no sound thanks to my natural padding. Actually, I tend to sneak up on people a lot. It's kind of funny when I manage to start Jenna, although she's made a point of evening the score. The restroom is a one-person at a time kind, and I lock the door behind me. As I'm going, I remember that Chase and Leah are somewhere around here.
TJ,
Maybe I should go and chat with them? I finish up and make my way down the long, empty hallway. I try looking for Leo and Chase, but it's hard to see much in here. I stand on my tiptoes, hoping to see Leo's ears since he's so tall. Nothing. I circle the room twice before I give up. Maybe they went outside? I make my way back to the exit and walk down the silent hallway again. This time I turn the opposite direction at the end and make my way upstairs and into the church. The chapel ceiling makes the hall seem twice as large as it is. Candles sit lining racks along the walls. A few are lit, but most are not. An altar made of marble and covered in a white cloth with a gold trim stands in front of a big wooden cross. A wooden podium stands off to the left for the priest to give a sermon. Wooden pews fill the empty space in the hall, while a balcony for the chair overlooks the entire chapel. The church organ is on the balcony, probably so kids don't mess with it. I walk through the front door, thinking that maybe they went out for some fresh air. No one there. I make my way to the parking lot to see if Leo's truck is still here. My heart sinks a little lower as I walk around the lot, the thought of them abandoning me at my weird Christian party at the front of my mind. Luckily, I spot Leo's truck sitting near the back of the lot. Oh no. So at least they're still here.
No, TJ, don't check on them. Oh God, TJ, no!
But that's not where we parked when we got here. That's weird. Maybe they went to get something?
Yeah,
No.
They sure did. You might say they came to get something.
I head over to the truck,
Knee
passing under
slap to
street
you,
lamps.
sir.
The lights are dim and the lot is mostly dark, including the space Leo's truck is occupying. I assumed that they just got back from wherever they went and are standing there, so I make my way towards the truck.
TJ, please stop.
I can start to make out that someone is in the driver's seat, but the passenger seat is empty.
Oh no, the passenger seat ain't empty, TJ. Oh no. Oh,
I
God,
can't make-
please stop.
I can't quite make out who it is, but it has to be Leo, right? I can see his silhouette outlined by the back window, but something seems off, like it doesn't really look like him. I slow my pace and try to make out what I'm seeing. I stop about 30 feet from the truck and squint my eyes.
Awkward.
Suddenly, the silhouette starts to move, but not just that, it starts to morph and change and split into two. The second shadow moves to the passenger seat. I start backpedaling as the driver's door opens, and I'm about to turn and run when the headlight comes on and Leo leans out.
Hey, TJ, is that you?
I stop and relax, initially chastising myself for being so skittish.
Internally.
Yes, I said internally.
You said initially.
Oh. Oops. Yeah, I was looking for you and Chase. Where'd you go? I walk more confidently towards Leo, and as I reach the car, Leo closes the door and rolls down the window. Leo looks to his right. Chase is sitting in the passenger seat. He looks a little embarrassed and also a little annoyed. He has a jacket over his bear.
He just pops out of nowhere, man.
What?
He has a
TJ
jacket.
or Chase?
Chase.
Boop. He has a jacket over his lap, and his bare legs are sticking out from beneath it. Leo clears his throat.
We just went for,
Chase seems to snicker at that. Oh, okay. I'm still not sure what they're talking about, but I have my suspicions.
You think?
I look at Chase. So, are you gonna go to the party? Leo looks at Chase, who sighs heavily, like he's just put down a giant weight.
I don't know about that, TJ. It's kinda awkward. Not really into the whole Kool-Aid thing.
The last part comes out mumbly and quiet. I flatten my ears to my head and ball my fist. Quit acting like it's some cult, Chase! My eyes go wide when I realize I said that out loud. Chase rolls his eyes and makes a sound with his mouth.
I know, TJ. I was just joking.
I clench my fist harder.
Sorry
No,
about
you're
that,
not.
buddy.
You're always mumbling stuff like that when all I'm trying to do is include you guys. Chase glares at me before responding.
Well, maybe it's because I'm not comfortable being in a place that thinks people like me and Leo are disgusting.
Who in there thinks you're disgusting? You know most of them. You've hung with me and Sarah before, so who in there thinks you're disgusting? Chase rolls his eyes again, and Leo seizes the opportunity to step in and raise his hand.
Look, Chase, we're here on TJ's behalf. The least we can do is stop by and say hi.
Chase mumbles something again, but I ignore it.
We'll head inside a bit, Teach, and we'll stick around for a while. Then we'll all head home, okay?
Leo's tone puts me at ease again, but I'm still uptight about after what Chase said. Listen, I'm gonna go for a quick walk to get some fresh air. Leo shoots a quick glare at Chase before turning to me.
Alright. We'll be inside when you get back, okay?
I nod, and because I don't want to have to say anything more, I turn and fast walk towards the road, passing under the dim lights of the parking lot as I do. I notice my lungs fill with cold air and a pressure seems to lift off my body. I wonder if that's what it's like to go through a panic attack. It sure felt like one. I struggle to undo my cufflinks, noticing how shaky my hands are, but I manage to undo the pins and let my wrists breathe. I loosen my tie and unbutton the top few buttons of my shirt, feeling like I can actually breathe again.
Oh god, that's so good feeling when you get to take the dress shirt off a little bit like that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I always feel comfy in a dress shirt, but yeah.
Liar.
I look around at
right now.
I look around.
So
I look around at the long stretch of road that runs past the church. There are some houses nearby, but the road is pretty empty except for the street lamps. One side of the road is a rocky gravel-covered hill, while the other side is a flat open ground with a occasional house nearby. I stand on the side of the road, under the street lamp, for a few minutes more. I don't really know why, but I take a step towards the darkness of Echo. As I walk down the road, I can feel the gravel shift under my toe pads, and it tickles my feet. I force myself to smile, and I try to think about other happy things in my life, but all I can think about is Chase and Leo. I sort of disconnect from what I'm seeing, drawing into myself, as I wonder why I thought it had been a good idea to invite Chase. He's always been kind of mean, but today it's even worse for some reason. He'd always been okay with me and my beliefs, but I guess actually bringing him here had been too much. I stop and snap back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity.
Sorry, I thought it too. I'm glad you said it.
It's completely dark and I look up. It seems I've walked past the streetlights on this road. I turn around and look back towards the church. I didn't realize I walked this far. I could barely make it out from here. How long have I been walking? I sigh and start to head back, putting my hands in my pockets and pick up the pace. I'm unnerved with how loud my footsteps are now.
Do you hear it?
I was looking at something else. Oh,
No?
now I hear it. Now I hear it.
What?
Each footstep is like nails on a chalkboard, causing the fur on the back of my neck to stand up. As I make it back under the closest street lamp, I check my phone to see what time it is. 9:30. I wish I had checked before I started walking, but I figured the party should have at least an hour left. I continue walking and go to put my phone in my pocket. I miss and it tumbles to the ground. I start to pick it up. The fur on my back of my neck stands up again. I thought I heard footsteps after I started walking. They were echoes, but something about a few of them sounded different. But it had to be the echo, right?
I mean, that is the name of the game.
I don't remember this picture.
Oh, no,
I
this
stand
is
up
you.
and look behind, but I don't see anything. I squint my eyes and looking into the blackness, but I can't make anything out. I listen for anything, and I think I hear my breathing, but when I try and focus on it, a steady high-pitched ringing starts to build. The more I try to focus, the louder it gets. I try to focus on anything other than that sound, but there's nothing to hear. It's gotten so loud that I don't think I'd be able to hear a jet engine at this point. I feel my lungs start to burn, and I release the breath I hadn't realized I'd been holding. I was so focused on hearing something, anything other than that ringing, that I ignored everything else. I inhale, the night air pierced by the sound of my breath being released. I must be going crazy. I take one last look around and start back towards the church again. But once I stepped out of the light, I swear I could hear footsteps start up behind me again. I focus on steadying my breathing and listening for any out-of-place sounds again. I keep my head low and try to catch a glimpse of anything out of the corner of my eyes. I look around to see how far I am from the church, and my heart sinks. I'm not even close. I look towards the house on the sides of the road, but only one remains between me and the church, and it's still a few street lamps away. Even in the dark, I can see this dilapidated mess, and no light shines from inside it. There are trees growing all around it and overtaking what's left of the house. I consider running and hiding in there, but there's no guarantee the doors are unlocked, or worse yet, maybe that's the person who's following me lives here. Just keep walking. I can't see anyone, so it might be all be in my head. Even if someone followed me, who's to say it isn't someone from the church? That would make them a good person, right? I make it under another street lamp, and then another, and I pass another two before I make it into front of the dilapidated house. Just then I hear ragged breathing coming from behind me, and I spin around with a yelp. But there's no one there. A whine escapes my throat as I look into the darkness. Shouldn't I be relieved that no one's there? But I can still hear that ragged breathing. It sounds like it's coming from everywhere. I can hear it to my left, but I can't see anything. I look to my right, but I don't see anything. I spin around looking in all directions, but I can't see anything. I turn my back towards the light pole, and I slowly back up, tears fill my eyes. Hello? Is there anyone there? This isn't funny. I jump in surprise when my back touches the light pole. I can hear his ragged breathing coming from my right and moving to the left just outside of the light. I shift on my feet and I can hear his footsteps echoing in the darkness. Hello? That's when I see something. I think I can see him moving around in the darkness, a tall, lanky figure. He bends down and starts to walk on all fours, but what I can make out disappears in the darkness again. It can be heard pacing around me, and as it starts to come closer to the light pole, I turn and back myself into the middle of the shining light. I hug my arms to my chest and whimper. I don't know where it is anymore. Whatever it is. I try to listen again, but that terrible ringing pierces my ears. I feel my face scrunch up and tears run down my cheeks. I feel another whimper escape my throat, and I look around in the night. I look back towards Echo, and I can see a car driving towards me, and I can feel a sense of hope watch over me. I like it. I start to look around, make sure the thing isn't going to grab me out of the shadows. I start to wave down the car, but as it pulls closer, the lights dim, and I can see into it. My heart sinks and I back away towards the light pole as I glimpse the silhouette of Horns in the driver's seat and a bright red eye looking back at me. I stumble backwards away from the car. It pulls up next to me, rolls the window down.
And Matt unfortunately left already, so Seb, you up to being backup Carl?
Yeah. TJ?
Carl? Carl nods in a manner that says the one and only, and he pulls a cigarette out of his mouth.
What are you doing?
Hey!
Whoa.
I'm trying to clean up. I'm sorry, the Marvel's being a bitch. Stop it. That's trash, lady. I let out a sigh of relief and rush forward, grabbing at the door handle.
Whoa there, Teach. I gotta unlock the door first.
I fiddle with the handle, and Carl tells me to stop so he can open the door. I force myself to let go, and I look around, afraid that something's going to jump out right at me before I can reach safety. I can smell something bad in the air now, like someone hasn't bathed in months or a rotting dead animal.
Or pot.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I was just thinking, I was like, it's pot, because it smells like skunk. I had a friend who smoked, and it's disgusting.
See, I'm a classy individual. I've been around classy individuals, and some weed smells absolutely pleasant.
Yeah, but not the cheap stuff.
No, the cheap stuff is absolutely skunk, but like high quality California ganja, that stuff smells like strawberries.
It's closer now. I hear the door click open, and I scramble for the handle again. I can hear Carl measure the door being open, and I could sit in the front if I liked, but I ignore him, too focused on getting inside the car. Yanking on the door, I step back to make room for it to swing outward. In that moment, I feel a presence and my hair raises on my neck. I rush to get into the back seat. As I look down for the step, I swear I could see a shadowy hand reaching from under the car. I quickly jump into the back seat and slam the door shut. Carl looks back at me with a smile.
What are you doing out here, Teach? Feeling alright?
Without looking at him, I mumble something about needing a walk. I'm too busy checking to make sure nothing is waiting outside the car watching us or trying to get in. I feel it shifting in my seat and the car starts to move. I take in a deep inward breath and let off a sigh of relief. I turn and look back over my shoulder at where I was trapped a few moments ago. I blink a few times to clear my eyes, and I can blurrily see the silhouette of a lanky, misshapen person standing just outside of the light. But we've pulled too far away from me to make anything out clearly. I turn around and lean my head back into the hard headrest, and I close my eyes, feeling them well up with tears. I jump when Carl starts talking again.
TJ, what the heck were you doing out here, anyway? Something happened?
I needed to clear my head, so I went for a walk.
All the way out here?
I was at the church. I point out the window to the side of the car it would be on, but we're already past it and into Peyton. I think about telling him about what just happened, but I can't figure out how to explain it right now. Carl keeps asking me questions all the while, and I tell him about my evening, the party, Sarah, Chase, and Leo. I leave out everything that happened after I left the church for reasons that I can't explain. I decide to focus on the part with Chase getting on my nerves, and he just laughs it off, saying, "That's just how Chase and Leo are." He asks if we should drop me back at the church. I tell him no, almost too quickly. I don't want to go back there, but I don't want to be alone. So instead I ask him if I can go over to his place for a bit. He replies with an ecstatic, "Of course!" And I message Leo and Chase to let them know. He mentions that he was going to Payton to buy a new game that just came out. He laughs, saying he hopes I don't mind if we have to wait a bit for it. I mumble that's fine, as long as the place we're going is well lit. Wow.
Poor TJ.
Poor shit, poor boy.
Is there a face at the end of TJ's route? Or no?
No, I was
I
thinking
don't think
maybe
there was.
there's, but I was looking and I didn't see anything.
Yeah, no, I don't think there was. Or if it is there, it's like hidden in like the darkness or something, I bet.
So I had a lot of thoughts. One of which is, it was interesting to me what TJ said about Chase.
Yeah.
Right? He's like, oh, Chase could just be a jerk, which is not how we've seen Chase except for in TJ's route. Which is...
Well, no, that's not true.
I mean, usually Chase has been pretty darn loyal to his friends.
Yeah, generally we see Chase be a jerk when Sam is, or the copycat Sam is, or
Well,
whatever Sam is.
That's what I was
Sam's
thinking.
in charge. He tends to make Chase a lot dickier than he would be on his
Well,
own.
And that's what I was thinking, because Chase has also been shown to be very, like... TJ and Chase have you know... I do enjoy how this game kind of explores, you know, Christianity and the LGBTQ community, especially through the vantage point of TJ. And it was just an interesting way that played out here, right? Where you could kind of see where both of them were coming from, right? But on the flip side, Chase was almost like it felt, because TJ's our point of view character here, right? So that
Yes.
changes how this interaction happens. But it almost feels like Chase is unprovoked here, right? Like
I would
Chase.
kind of agree with that. So I just want to throw this out there real quick, that one of the things that's going on here, which I feel like honestly the game doesn't do the best job of showing this, is it's mentioned multiple times that Leo is a militant atheist, where he kind of feels like anyone who's like religious is dumb, and he just kind of like puts up with it with TJ. But like they never really show him being that dismissive of religion and other faiths and things like that, even though they state that that is Leo's thing and that he pushed that on Chase. So
he seemed to be here. Well, that's the weird thing, though, right? Because Leo's being completely respectful to TJ. He's even like, "Hey, yeah, man, let's go to the party." It's Chase that's kind of being the dick about it.
yeah, it also makes me kind of wonder if Chase is just lying in Leo's route about that and just saying that when it was actually him who felt that way, because Leo's never showcased his supposed dislike of religion from my memory, unless you
And
can
Leo
remember a
is
scene
also
like
very
that,
nice
Harry.
to TJ, right? Like Leo has shown nothing.
He
but
does.
respect to
He
TJ.
does say. I mean, it is brought up to the fact that he is an atheist, and there is parts where he says that he doesn't believe in anything.
Well, that's
Yeah,
fine.
but, like,
I was talking
The
about,
only
like,
time
religion.
it does come out about the fact that he really doesn't like Catholicism. I remember that specifically.
Yeah.
Specifically, he really doesn't like Catholicism because of his family. But that was as far as I remember it going. It was essentially like, my hatred for this is wrapped up in the fact that it's, underlined hatred for my family. As it be.
Interesting.
And but he hasn't been like. So here's the thing with Leo, right? We've never seen Leo be. Matter of fact, we've seen Leo be nothing but loving and supportive of TJ. And it was interesting because it was Chase that was being kind of a dick, right?
I would disagree with that, though. Because in Leo's own route, he was supportive, quote-unquote, but he was more dismissive, honestly, of TJ. Kind of going like, okay, shut up, like, we're gonna try and move on here. Oh, do we really have time to let TJ take a shower and de-stress a little? That's wasting time, we should be moving, so on and so forth.
He was that way to everyone in his route, bro. Yes, I don't count Leo's route, because Leo's route, he was kind of an asshole to everyone.
Okay. Well then, maybe you shouldn't count TJ's route for how you should view Chase.
I've been thinking about that. But and I'm not trying to knock on Chase here. Because actually one of the things I really like about this game is the way it does kind of explore. TJ is a really sweet, lovable character.
Yes.
And the way that TJ interacts with the LGBTQ community, and the way TJ interacts with his peers, and the way his peers interact with the LGBTQ community is kind of cool to see. And even then, like, we don't get to see how Sarah treats Leo and Chase, right? Mm-hmm. But it's implied that they would have been completely safe at that party, right? It's implied that
at least from TJ's perspective.
Correct. For all we know, they would have shown up and then gotten harassed, right?
Because one of the things I do remember is a line that's brought up a couple times throughout the game is Chase saying that he didn't get bullied in high school, but that was because no one would, in their right mind, would pick a fight with Leo. This gigantic dude who was also on the football team. You can't fuck with the football team.
Which is another thing I like that they break stereotypes of, too, right? So the fact that you have Leo as this big, buff, badass dude that you wouldn't freaking mess with, and he's on a football team, and he's gay, right? Like, that's another, like, stereotype that they're trying to break over there, right?
Well, one thing that I just want to throw out there is, like, if we're talking about breaking stereotypes, one thing I find fascinating is while Chase and, like, his group of friends get targeted multiple times over throughout, like, the story and, like, the various routes and all that, it's never because they're gay that they get targeted.
Correct.
Which I think is kind of interesting.
And I like that. No, I like that a lot. I don't like making one's sexuality a plot point. I like it being like
it's definitely part of the plot and everything that they're gay, but like
but it's more. But it isn't, right? It's not like, oh, they live in small town America and small town America wants to kill them because they're gay, right? Like that's not.
Well, there's that. The thing is, no. The reason why I'm bringing this up is like the only time I can think of this being brought up is like towards the very beginning where some jackasses throw the F slur at Chase and Leo when they're talking out in front of the hotel. But that's like the one time, and then beyond that, there's Clint who pretends to be homophobic for a hot second just to antagonize Leo. But when he like
he's not homophobic, he's Leophobic.
Yes, he talks with Chase later. and He goes, "Dude, I don't care who you're with. Why did it have to be Leo?"
Yeah,
because he just genuinely despises Leo, which I thought is interesting, and that's why I bring up like the fact that Chase and the friend group gets targeted multiple times. And it's more because of everything that happened in their past with Sydney, how there's so many people claiming that they're seeing Chase in at multiple locations. So there's other reasons for why they target them. And I think that's just a neat little point there for the story.
Well, and so I'd be interested to see what you guys think. We can talk about... So we get two things that were interesting to me is one is the concept of TJ's sexuality. And two is, I got the vibe that Chase was totally possessed in this point. So, like, we just came from his route with Jenna, where he's, like, very authentically him. With that, like, he's helping Jenna out. And then here we got this kind of, like, it felt like a very detached, unfriendly Chase, and it just felt very dichotomized. And it almost felt like unpossessed Chase versus Chase. And then as far as TJ's sexuality, it still kind of lines up with what we were saying last week. Like, it felt very like TJ is attracted to you if he's emotionally attracted to you, and TJ is still kind of young, and he doesn't. It's so I don't view him as asexual so much as not feeling
not sexual.
No, he is though. That's the thing. He's sexual, but he doesn't want to like
DJ.
He's the anti-Chase, if I may, right? Like we have Chase who's
DJ?
like, ooh, hot, love it.
DJ.
And yeah, huh?
There is a sexuality that I've talked about before. That
and that's what I'm saying. Where it's like he's romantically interested, but even then with Sarah, right? He's romantically interested in Sarah. He's comfortable with Sarah. But he gets uncomfortable with having an erection, right? And so I think that is almost
he's
like...
not comfortable with his own sexuality, because, like I said, he doesn't know it, he doesn't have a lot of experience with that type of stuff. And there is also the bit of the stereotype about how there's some hang-ups that you can kind of get from being told, hey, no, you shouldn't be having any form of, like, intimacy with somebody else until you're married, blah, 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 you know? And
well, yeah, but
like,
I mean,
the thing is, I'm not saying that that's how TJ's church taught him or anything, but that is the common stereotype about that stuff.
Oh, yeah, well, no,
I won't lie, I came from a very liberal church, and I still took that lesson away of the I shouldn't be intimate with someone in any capacity, even like with hugging or touching, and I still have issues with touch even to this day. Where and that I will trace back to absence only education from my sex ed classes. And from the few times I was in churches and everything, and they said that, like, oh, well, you shouldn't be doing anything until you are married.
So I guess for me, I think I get that. I guess that might be the way.
The thing I'm going to point out
that's
as well
not the way
that there's a big difference here.
More of, like, TJ wants to be very like. He feels, I guess there is a bit of that, right? He feels uncomfortable with this concept of, like...
I know, DJ, I just have one other thing I want to point out.
Yeah.
You're coming at this from the Catholicism lens. TJ's a Protestant.
Okay, maybe that's it. Catholics, Catholics might joke... Well, there might be a joke about Catholics and purity, and we totally do still teach, like, waiting until marriage. We also, I mean, I like to joke... There's a reason that you have Italy and France as Catholic countries. Catholics are very fans of sexuality.
Yeah, I will say from like my own religious background, I was raised very Baptist throughout a lot of my formative years, with Methodist after that, and honestly, like, yeah, that has influenced how I kind of view some stuff. And like, looking even at TJ's church, they are very much a Protestant church. They were never Catholic.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think that is, though, influencing, right? Like, I think he's very uncomfortable with the concept of, like, he's attracted to Sarah both emotionally and sexually. Mm-hmm. He feels safe around Sarah, and so he gets aroused. And I think but I think he's not ready for that step yet, and so that's why he backs off. And I actually kind of like that about how they write TJ, right? Like, he's not... That's often written as a joke, right? That kind of a character trait.
Yeah. Like,
the character that's like, ooh, I don't want to do this thing, is often written as a joke, and TJ is written as a very serious, meaningful character that doesn't feel comfortable with something.
Oh, yeah.
And you don't see that in media as often, and I really like that. I really like that you have this character that's uncomfortable with jumping straight into sexual connection, especially in a game where, like, the game itself has no issue with jumping into sexual connection. Yeah. So, like, having that character not be a joke, right? I love that. I love that a lot, actually.
Mm-hmm. Now, I do want to say, once again, that, like, TJ's sexuality, I still am very much vying for demisexual. And that, like I said, that can be him building those sexual feelings after he starts feeling romantically attached to somebody. And, yeah, that seems to be very much the case with Sarah. We don't get to know much about Sarah outside of this one story, but she definitely seems to be somebody that he was very close with, that he felt very emotionally attached to, and probably would have dated her if things had continued.
Well, and... it feels like she understands and respects his, we'll call it demisexuality, more so than the other girl.
I wouldn't say that. I think, like, the thing is, it's awkward teenage stuff. Like, she just was kind of treating it like regular awkward teenage like, oh, I kind of like you, you like me, and she just kept going for that. And
yeah,
it was,
but I like
it
that
was
because
working out for
the other girl wasn't. I mean, the other girl wasn't doing anything wrong, right? But
Heather,
she was a
yeah.
bit more pushy. Whereas this girl kind of, she's like, okay, we're done dancing now. It seems like you feel uncomfortable.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to point out as well. Was with Heather, that was one of their very first dates. They weren't even like spending that much time together in Echo before then, even though they both were kids who grew up in Echo. But with Sarah, it's very obvious that TJ had a prior relationship with Sarah for a good while, where he said he wanted to go there to make her night a little better.
Mm-hmm. I like him. I like TJ a lot. He's my baby.
Now,
I'm the baby.
Before I forget, Seb, Sam, either of you have any thoughts? Because I know DJ and I definitely talked over everyone.
Just I'm thinking more about the monster instead of the actual, like, you know, sexuality and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And
horror doesn't matter.
And I want to think it's like the red monster, even though he doesn't see what it is. I like to think it's.
I have to agree with you on that.
Yeah.
I thought it was the white one.
Our boy.
I'm leaning towards it being the red one because remember that one's attracted to like pain, anxiety, fear, things like that.
Mm-hmm. It seems like that one wants to fix it too, because it has a bit of what's his face in it.
At one point, it wanted to fix it because remember, don't forget that's Flynn as he's like slowly losing everything.
Yeah.
Flynn as he's losing his shit.
Mm-hmm. And so, like, I would say that maybe it's a Flynn that's kind of trying to reach out to TJ. I almost feel like I remember there being a comment about him seeing TJ even before, like that.
Well, he sees TJ a few times. He sees TJ at the lake. He sees TJ when he slams into a car.
Well, yeah, there's those ones, but I could have sworn he said something like TJ like under a light post or something, but maybe I'm misremembering and adding that, but instead...
That I don't know.
I don't quite remember.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a bit, so... Either way. Seb, you have any thoughts?
I just feel bad for TJ.
How come?
Stuff is just not going right for him. Like, he has interest, and you can kind of see that, but, like, he's really awkward.
Oh, of course. How about you, Harry? What's your thoughts?
I mean, I don't think I can say anything I haven't said before, so...
Okie doke. Well, then, should we call this episode here?
Yep.
Yeah.
Alright, well, say goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.